Hola, me llamo Alcalde Oliver Gilbert, and we've gone virtual. Now, while you're staying at home, I wanted to make sure the activities you enjoyed could be brought to you online. Join me with Spanish lessons with Dr. Jackson. Let's learn Spanish together.
Hola, bienvenidos a la clase de español. Hoy es martes, el 7 de julio de 2020. Hi, and welcome to Spanish class. I am Dr. Jackson, and I'm happy that you all are joining me here today. Today, we're going to be working on the future tense, okay? El futuro. Okay, so let's get started with our first slide on the rules, las reglas. Okay, so there are three ways that you can conjugate the verb, okay? The first way is by using the present tense with a time expression, okay? So if you would say the train leaves at 2, el tren sale a las 2, okay? The second way is by using ir plus the a plus the infinitive, okay? So if you say, this Saturday I will recycle all the bottles. Este sábado voy a reciclar todas las botellas. The third way is to use the future tense itself. In the future tense, all of the verbs have the same endings. Okay, so most of the verbs you attach the endings to the infinitive. And I'm going to show you that now in the following slide. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So here are the rules for attaching the endings to the infinitive. So if you're talking about yourself, yo, I, you would add e, okay? If you're talking about someone else, you, tú, you would add as. If you're talking about, if you're saying you, usted in the formal sense, you would add a. He, él, you would also add a. She, ella, you would also add a, okay? If you're saying we, nosotros, you would add hemos. Ustedes, you all, you would add han. Ellos, in the masculine form, they, you would also add an. And ellas, they, in the feminine form, you would also add an. So let's review that. For yo, you would add e to the ending of the word. Tú, as. Usted, él, y ella, you'd add a. Nosotros, you'd add hemos. Ustedes, ellos, and ellas, you would add an. Okay? All right, so let's move on to the next slide. Now, the yo form, the yo form, the rules is for the future tense, you would add e to the end, okay? You leave the verb in the infinitive form and then just add e. And that's for only for yo, all right? Okay, so let's look at some words with all of the verbs, okay? Let's move on to the next slide. So right here, you're going to see a few words, a few verbs, and then the yo, tú, usted, nosotros, and ustedes, and how the word changes when you're speaking depending on the person you're speaking to, okay? So for the verb pasar, to pass, if you're saying yo, in the future tense, you would say pasaré, okay? Will pass, pasaré, okay? If you're saying you or tú, pasarás. It's also will pass, but you say pasarás, adding the as to the end of the word pasar, okay? For usted, él, and ella, you would only add a, so it would be pasará, pasará. For we, nosotros, you would say pasaremos, pasaremos. Usted, ellos, and ellas, you would say pasarán, pasarán. Okay, let's review that again. So for the word pasar, to pass, yo pasaré. pasaré. Tú pasarás. Pasarás. Usted, él o ella pasará. Pasará. Nosotros pasaremos. Pasaremos. Ustedes, ellos o ellas pasarán. Pasarán. Okay, good. Let's move to the next word. The next word is aprender, and that is to learn. Okay? Yo aprenderé. Yo aprenderé. Aprenderé. Tú aprenderás. Tú aprenderás. Usted, él o ella aprenderá. Aprenderá. Nosotros, we, aprenderemos. Aprenderemos. Ustedes, ellos, ellas, aprenderán. Aprenderán. Okay, one more time. For aprender, yo aprenderé. Tú aprenderás. Usted, él o ella aprenderá, excuse me. Aprenderá without the S. Nosotros aprenderemos. And ustedes, ellos y ellas aprenderán. Okay? All right, so the next word, pedir, to ask. Yo pediré. Okay? I will ask. All of these are will because it's the future tense. Pediré. Tú pedirás. Pedirás. Usted, él o ella pedirá. Pedirá. Nosotros pediremos. Pediremos. Ustedes, ellos, ellas pedirán. Pedirán. Okay, let's review that again. So for pedir, to ask, yo pediré. Tú pedirás. Usted, él o ella pedirá. Nosotros pediremos. Ustedes, ellos y ellas pedirán. Okay? Next word, tener. Tener means to have. Yo tendré. Tendré. Tú tendrás. Tendrás. Usted, él o ella tendrá. Tendrá. Nosotros tendremos. Tendremos. Ustedes, ellas o ellos tendrán. Tendrán. Okay, let's review tener again. Yo tendré. Tú tendrás. Usted, él o ella tendrá. Nosotros tendremos. Ustedes, ellos o ellas tendrán. Okay. Next word, poder. Able to. Yo podré. Podré. Tú podrás, podrás. Usted, él or ella podrá, podrá. Nosotros podremos, podremos. And usted, ellos or ellas podrán, podrán. Okay, let's review poder again. Yo podré, will be able to. Tú podrás. Usted, él or ella podrá. Nosotros podremos. And ustedes, ellos or ellas podrán. Okay, next word, saber, to know, saber. Yo sabré, sabré. Tú sabrás, sabrás. Usted, él o ella sabrá, sabrá. Nosotros sabremos, sabremos. Ustedes, ellos o ellas sabrán, sabrán. Okay, let's review that again. For saber, yo sabré. Tú sabrás. Usted, él o ella sabrá. Nosotros sabremos. Ustedes, ellos o ellas sabrán. Okay, the last word, hacer, to do. Yo haré. Haré. Remember, H is silent. Okay, haré. Tú harás. Harás. Usted, él o ella hará. Hará. Nosotros haremos. Haremos. Ustedes, ellos o ellas harán. Harán. Okay, let's review hacer again. Yo haré. Tú harás. Usted, él o ella hará. Nosotros haremos. And ustedes, ellos o ellas harán. Okay. All right, good. Let's move on to the next slide. Ejemplos, examples. Okay, let's look at number 1. If you say, one day I will have a house, will have. You would say, algún día tendré una casa. So will have is tendré una casa. Okay, again, algún día tendré una casa. Algún día tendré una casa. Okay, number 2. In the future, we will be able to use the internet to obtain more jobs. Okay. En el futuro, podremos usar el internet para seguir más carreras. En el futuro, podremos usar el internet para seguir más carreras. So we will be able to, podremos. And number 3, will you be able to speak more languages in the future? ¿Sabrás hablar más de 2 idiomas en el futuro? Will you be able to speak more than 2 languages in the future? ¿Sabrás hablar más de 2 idiomas en el futuro? And those of you watching will be able to say, sí. Yes, you will be able to. Again, ¿sabrás hablar más de 2 idiomas en el futuro? Okay, good. Let's move on to the next slide for more examples. Okay, so here you have a few sentences using all of the forms, okay? Well, most of them. So the following people will study at home, okay? We're going to change each person to change the form, all right? The verb form. So number 1 says, I will study at home. Yo estudiaré en casa. Remember, yo, you add e to the end of the word. So this is study, estudiar. Yo estudiaré en casa. Yo estudiaré en casa. Good. Number 2, you will study at home. Tú estudiarás en casa. Tú estudiarás en casa. Tú estudiarás en casa. Number 3, Julio will study at home. Julio estudiará en casa because Julio is él, okay? Julio estudiará en casa. Number 4, Juan and I, or we, will study at home. And remember, nosotros, you would say, Juan y yo estudiaremos en casa. Juan y yo estudiaremos en casa. Juan y yo estudiaremos en casa. Okay, and the last one, Eva y Felipe, or you all, will study at home. Ustedes, Eva y Felipe estudiarán en casa. Eva y Felipe estudiarán en casa. Okay? All right, good. Let's move on to the next slide. Here we're going to have talk about irregular verb stems. Okay? So for the word decir, to say, decir, you would change it to dir. Okay? Before you add the id or the a at the end, or whatever the ending is. If you're talking about yourself, someone else, you would change it to dir instead of deciré or deciremos, okay? You would say diré or diremos, and we're going to go into that in a minute. So the next one, poner, to put, it changes to pondr, okay? Poner changes to pondr. Querer, to want, changes to quer. Salir, to go out, changes to saldr. And venir, to come, changes to vendre. Okay? Again, decir changes to dir. Poner changes to pondre. Querer changes to quer. Salir changes to saldr. And venir changes to vendre. Okay, so let's review. Let's move on to the next slide so that we can go over a few examples. All right, so look at number 1. It says, in the future, they will say that the destination of the rainforest, that the destruction of the rainforest caused many ecological problems. All right, so you would say, en el futuro dirán que la destrucción de las selvas tropicales causó muchos problemas ecológicos. Now, look at the word dirán. That is to say. So you're not adding the E or the A. It changes to dir. Okay? Again, en el futuro dirán que la destrucción de las selvas tropicales causó muchos problemas ecológicos. All right? One more time. En el futuro dirán que la destrucción de las selvas tropicales causó muchos problemas ecológicos. All right, good. Number 2. So if you want to say, we will put more plants in our house, in our home. Pondremos más plantas en nuestra casa. Pondremos más plantas en nuestra casa. So if you look at number 2, you see how poner changed to pondre. Okay, pondremos. All right, again, pondremos más plantas en nuestra casa. All right, good. Let's move on to number 3. We will want to fight against war and for peace. Okay, so we want to fight for that. Queremos luchar contra la guerra y por la paz. Queremos, okay, querer, to want. Queremos luchar contra la guerra y por la paz. Again, queremos luchar contra la guerra y por la paz. All right, number 4. I will leave early in the morning. Will you come with me? Saldré muy temprano por la mañana. ¿Vendrás conmigo? Again, saldré muy temprano por la mañana. ¿Vendrás conmigo? Okay, so you see how salir changed to saldr. Again, saldré muy temprano por la mañana. ¿Vendrás conmigo? Okay, so that is the end of our lesson for today on the future tense. Okay, the following slide has some links for you to go on to practice so that you can continue throughout the week. Go on to cmg.com so that you can print out the slides and continue your Spanish experience. Again, thank you for joining me today. Adios.
I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Join us every Monday and Wednesday on Facebook Live for Spanish with Dr. Jackson. If you want to view the session again, visit cmgengage.com/virtual. See you next week.